What's up, Ramley? You are now in the kitchen with Chef Nixon for all your fixes for the latest and greatest of VCU men's basketball. So, VCU had a game versus University of Henrico. How'd it go? Let's get into it. All right. So, first and foremost, anybody who knows about this game knows this is a big rivalry game. Um, and both teams are looking to prove something different, right? VCU is trying to showcase their dominance over the University of Henrico, and the University of Henrico is trying to get payback for losing in a close game at home against VCU. And the biggest difference is since the University of Henrico lost to VCU, they kind of had an uptick in play. Out of the last 5 games, they won 4. Which including a huge win over St. Bonaventure, which was surprising. But that wasn't the only thing that was surprising. They've been getting super, let me not say super, but they have been getting excellent play out of Tyler Burton. And I've heard about the kid numerous times throughout the season. Just saying or hearing, oh, he's an NBA prospect, or I seen some stuff on Twitter like he's going to be at Kentucky next year. And I talked to some of my guys, some of the coaching staff. What's up with this? What's up with this kid? And they all saying he just has an NBA body. He has like an NBA style of play. But even when I see him play, I really never seen him go off until he plays somebody else. So I was wondering, is that a VCU thing, or is that he just can't get off against VCU, or is it something where, he just had bad games, or is it just, it's weird. So during that 5-game stretch, Burton's been averaging 19.6 points per game and 8.6 rebounds per game. So he's definitely elevated his play. So that also gave, Richmond a little boost, a little momentum coming into this game. So I was curious. I was really curious to see if it was fool's gold, or, is Richmond a new team now that he's playing like this, and could he maintain that play against VCU? Because I've seen the guy play multiple times now. I just never seen what everybody was so hype on. So let's go to the other side of things. VCU enters the game in the midst of yet another 4-game win streak, looking to extend it. However, they would have to do so without the services of Hassan Ward. Hassan hurt his ankle at Fordham early in the first half. He didn't return. Coming into the game, we knew it was going to be like a game-time decision per Coach Rose. So I was kind of concerned about, the defensive end and certain things on the offensive end as far as how Hassan impacts the game and where we're going to get that from. So, one, Hassan, he rebounds the ball really well. He protects the rim very well. The offensive end, we run plays, to get the alley-oop. We got guys that are athletic and go and get it, but nobody quite goes and gets it like Hassan. That's why he has some NBA talk around him, because his athleticism alone and the fact that he has a tremendous upside. That's why he has some, that's why some of the scouts would come to see him. And I was going to see how this is going to impact the game. So let's get into it. Beginning of the game, we got Deloach, freshman, making his first start in the place of Hassan, which is kind of weird. Mikael Brown-Jones has been playing well, so I found that kind of weird. Why he didn't get to start. No offense to Deloach or anything like that. I love Deloach. Or you still got Stockard on the team, who's a 6-year senior, and it's like, yo, why ain't he playing? But we all know Stockard's kind of been going through it, trying to get back physically and mentally from having COVID, which kind of broke his stride. He was playing extremely well. Then COVID hit him, and it kind of broke his stride. So I saw that intriguing. I found that to be interesting that he that Deloach got to start over those two. Um, so when the game first started, I immediately noticed how Hassan was presence was missed. Um, I think we started out the first play we wanted to run, and I really understand why Coach Rose ran this play. So he ran. It was like a swing and a pick and roll at the left slot of the wing, with Ace coming to the middle and the big made kind of like a center screen and making kind of a U roll to the basket, and you throw it up and it's going to be an alley-oop. Boom, right? Um, that in this type of game with the sold out crowd, would take the roof off the gym and instantly put the momentum in VCU's favor, right? So I get them going to that. And if that was Hassan, he would have got it. Deloach still has a lot of getting his footwork together. You could tell like when he's on a post, sometimes his footwork looks clean, and that's when he can go up and make shots. Other times his footwork isn't clean, and that's where he gets himself in trouble. Either he'll turn the ball over or he'll just have to pass it right back out because he doesn't have the footwork yet. And that footwork plays into gathering and going and jumping and getting the ball and dunking it. It's a little bit more complicated than you would think. And I'll give you an example of that, how one player changed the game. Let's rewind a couple years. We can go to two different games. One, which I'm pretty sure I mentioned before, was the Briante against Butler. This is 2012, 2013 year, I believe. Or is it 2011, 12 year, because this is the year right after the Final Four. And Butler came to Siegel Center, and I haven't seen the Siegel like this. For some reason, this game seemed the most packed I've ever seen Siegel Center. And we had sellouts, we had a 100+ game sellout streak. So, but this game for some reason just seemed super packed. And at the very beginning of the game, you know what I'm saying, Briante gets a steal on a break by himself and dumps the ball so damn hard. I think my mother-in-law has it framed. It's such a dope picture. But that one play changed the momentum of the whole game, and VCU completely dominated Butler from there on out. I left at like halftime because I had to go to a wedding, but the game was over after that play. Another situation we want to rewind back. I think it was the previous year, 2011. I think we went down to Georgia State, and either we lost a close game and we didn't really play well, or we won a close game, and I can't remember. But there was big tension between us and Georgia State when they were coming to our house. And another thing, we were beginning of the game, we're pressing them. Joey's on the point guard. He starts strapping him up. It gets to the point where Joey gets him to pick the dribble up. Everybody's denying their man to the point where he has to like fade away and call timeout like this. It almost looked like he was like shying away from the contact. It was a bad look from him. And then Joey just starts yelling in his face. I'm so surprised he didn't get a tech. He starts yelling in his face, and that was the play that broke the game over. We smacked them. They didn't stand a chance. So those are the type of plays that we can run with Hassan, because he can bring it back to the present day. That's how we started the game off, and we missed it. It ended up being a turnover. And that's immediately how we missed Hassan in this play. And then we also struggled with defending at the rim. Deloach is still a freshman, right? But the biggest thing, he still has that freshman body. And if you know Deloach, I don't know if everybody knows, but he has a brother who plays football for Florida State. What I take from that is he has a lot of room to put weight on and be stronger, and he's not really there yet. But he'll get there, because I think the biggest thing with him on the defensive end is you got these bigger guys putting all their weight on him. He just doesn't have the strength yet to maintain the zone. But once he gets that, it's on and popping. Footwork, and strength for Deloach is going to be an issue next year. But yeah, we weren't getting the same contested shots at the rim early on in the half. So Richmond was having a little bit of success. They came out super aggressive. Their offense was running crisply. Everything was kind of working in their favor. We were struggling offensively to find our footing, and we kept trying to force the issue. But it just wasn't working in our favor. And then something crazy happened. At this point in time, I was moving around the whole game. I was downstairs. I was on the other side of the court, opposite of the team that was upstairs. But I was upstairs when this happened, and the ball was swung to the right wing it's a Richmond possession. It was swung to the right wing. Burton jabs right, rips left, and Keyshawn Curry turns and tries to defend him, and he just falls to the ground and immediately starts grabbing his knee and pushing himself off of the court. When I say I was like, oh man, not the Jacksonville Jet. Because, like I said, I've always said how Keyshawn Curry is a important factor to the team. He may not be the ace or the Vince Williams. You know what I'm saying? Those two guys get a lot of the praise. But even in this last few 2 or 3 games, he's been producing offensively, putting up major numbers, 28, 12, and I think 20, 21. So in this stretch, he's hooping, right? You know what I'm saying? He's doing his thing. But even with that, he's still not like one of the guys to get most of the praise. But for me, I've always found what he does to be integral to the success of the team, because he's one of the most consistent players in regards to the defensive end. He's always guarding the best player on the opposing team. And when it comes to being aggressive, like I compare it to like Taya Robinson, the women's team. No matter what, if Taya Robinson's hitting or if she's not hitting, it's still important that she's aggressive, because it opens up everything else for other players to be successful. And that's kind of what Keyshawn Curry does for the men's team. Like there's been times where, we swing the ball, we don't seem to have a look where Keyshawn Curry, using his athleticism, can do a quick rip through when he's at the rim. You know what I mean? And from there, him bringing that aggressiveness opens up the defense for other people to be successful. So that's just one of the few aspects how I feel like he plays a big role. So when I seen him fall on the ground and hold his knee, I had an instant flashback to when Briante tore his knee. Who was that against? I know it was a home game, so it was a big game. It was like Thanksgiving time, because I was in North Carolina. He went through the pain to the jump stop, and his knee just blew. I was like, yo. So I instantly had a flashback to that. He was able to get up or get assisted off the court, and this is where the momentum seemed to be completely in University of Henrico's favor. But this is where I get to the point where I truly love this team. Right, that incident and how we responded is one of the reasons I truly love this team. And that's collective toughness, right? And next man up mentality. There was an article about Eric Maynard, who was in attendance this past game, about the next man up. You should definitely check it out. I don't know. I don't remember where the link is or anything like that, but do your Googles. But collective toughness. We had 2 guys come in immediately and give us instant energy. Nick Kearns and Mikael Brown-Jones both came in and gave us great energy, right? To the point that, we ended up getting some momentum ourselves, and we went to this half tie. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but I always look at how teams come out, right? Like if half was kind of shaky for one team, or if it was like at this point in time it's a tie game, most people think that there's not much to talk about. So you should be in the locker room, back out on the floor, and that's kind of how Richmond was. Richmond was in the locker room, back out on the floor. VCU, in my eyes, took a longer time to come out of the locker room, and I pay attention to that because sometimes to convey a serious message, it takes longer, right? If you're not happy with how your team's performing, it's going to take longer for you to get them ready for the second half. So that right there let me know that, seeing Richmond come out so early, I was like, oh, they about to get smacked. Because I thought VCU played a pretty bad half. We had the run at the end, but in general, we played a really mediocre half. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say bad. We played a really mediocre half. We didn't do a lot of things to our best ability. So 1.5, and coming out, I knew that this is me because I know basketball. You know what I mean? I know basketball, and I've seen. I'm like, okay, well, our defense is always going to be there. You know what I mean? Our defense is always going to be there. The crowd is going to be too live. So there's no way that I think that I don't think we're going to play nearly as bad as we played the first half, and I don't think Richmond can play any better. So boom, second half tied. And then from there on, it was a thumping. Why? I got 4 reasons. 1. The University of Henrico, they're front runners. They never really seemed tough to me. Even the game at Richmond, I felt as if, the game at University of Henrico, I always felt as if it was more so us not taking care of the ball, not really them fighting to get back into the game. I felt like it was more so us not doing what we needed to do. I never felt like Richmond's one of those teams that has a bunch of heart. And, I don't really see any true leadership. Like, Golden's been there for forever. When I'm on the court, I don't really see him with passion. I don't really see him motivating his teammates. I barely see any of them really motivate each other. They're just out there playing like they just have no soul. You know what I'm saying? They're just out there, let's run the offense. You know what I mean? I don't know. I never seen grit from them. Number 2, I don't know if any of the fans noticed this, but even if we were late closing out, every single shot that Richmond took, contested. If we're late, our busting our tail getting out there is enough to make somebody second guess. And I'm sitting here watching the second half. I have my little beverage, and I'm watching the second half, and I'm just seeing the effort that we're putting in on the defensive end to keep the ball in front. And when it was a kick out, how hard we bust our ass to contest the shot. And I don't see there's a difference between closing out, right? You have your Rondo closeout, you have your D Wade closeout, and you have your I guess now it would be called Steph Curry closeout instead of Steve Curry. So your Rondo closeout, somebody who really doesn't shoot the ball, we kind of encourage them to shoot the ball. Like, all right, you're not really a shooter, we'll give you that. We're going to keep you from getting in the paint. Then you have your D Wade closeout, where you want to close out with high hands, but not sprint out there so they can get into the lane, because even though they're capable of hitting the 3, what they really like to do is get into the paint, right? So you just want to, it's kind of like you got to high hands, choppy feet, get there, but not overly aggressive. Then there's a Curry closeout, where you want to get out there, and the first thing you want to do is take away that 3-point shot. And Richmond doesn't really. I haven't really seen nobody who's like a true knockdown shooter. So they're all like D Wade closeouts in my eyes. So we were busting our tail to get out there and still contesting and still not getting ripped by. And it was just like making it hard for every shot. And then it just kept piling up. They'll miss one. We'll get the rebound. Go. Piling up. Forcing shots. Taking shots you're not used to taking. So that was number 2. Number 3, the next man up. I thought Nick Kern brought so much energy when Keyshawn Curry got hurt. I also think Keyshawn Curry coming back into the game and warming up was also something that kind of showed our toughness, and probably could have affected Richmond's psyche as well, because they probably thought he was going to be done. But the next man up ability, even from Deloach stepping in for Hassan and playing well. Deloach played really good this game. Mikael Brown-Jones, like 11.7 rebounds. He was killing. Nick Kern had plenty of moments, like the and one, driving baseline to and one. That was a big moment. And just to show that these cats aren't scared to play, and these cats are dogs. No pun intended. These guys are dogs. So it's like it was a beautiful thing to see. And I don't think not just any team in the nation, well, excuse me, not any team in the A10 nor the nation has the depth of dogs like we do. You know what I mean? We got people who are get in there and aren't scared to make big plays, and aren't scared of the moment. And that's going to be something that pays dividends moving forward. And it has already. And I feel like it's going to only continue to increase and grow. And number 4, last but certainly not least, is Ram Nation showed up and showed out. We had Richmond fans in the building. We heard their measly ass cheers every now and then. But for the most part, VCU was rocking, man. Ram Nation was rocking. We finally got a sold-out game, the first sold-out game of the year. First sold-out game since COVID came around. It was amazing to see. Like, it was dope. This is how it used to be. I went upstairs and the dude was saying like, "Oh yeah, this is my first time being up here. Is this how it always is?" I was like, "Man, this is how it used to always be." You know what I mean? Everybody used to have so much fun coming to these games, and it was a whole environment where everybody is going crazy with their support for VCU. Now, I seen we had promotions on the news and stuff like that, which I appreciate the athletic department actually putting that extra effort in to make sure, because we had all these different things about the seatings and all these different things that were hindering or making people second guess whether they want to come to the game. However, they showed out Friday, and when we get a crowd like that, it's going to be super hard for teams to compete with us, especially with our defense being elite, especially with our depth, especially with our coach staff being as great as they are. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be hard for teams to come in this dude and win. And if we would have had that same support early on, who's to tell what our record would be? You know what I mean? We're not saying that's all on the fans, of course. Sometimes players mess up too. But it was super dope. As an alumni, I was super appreciative of the support. And I know all the fans enjoyed themselves outside the U of R fans. So it is what it is. VCU ended up smacking them, winning by 20. And I think we're in their head for good now. It's really not even a rivalry anymore because we thumping them every time. So stat leaders: Ace Baldwin, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. He did a great job as usual, dribbling the ball. He had 5-1, 5 assists, 1 turnover, which is a great ratio. He hit big momentum threes at times. Got 2 steals. Both of those were big. Just a great game for him. Vince Williams, Mr. Do-It-All, had 15 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Of course, he hit big threes, momentum changing threes, like tying it up, and like going into the first half. Vince was doing his thing as usual. Doing his thing as usual. And Vince's ability to block the ball is something I feel like is kind of overrated. I mean, not overrated, but underrated. You don't really hear people really talk about it like you do with Hassan, but he does a great job of getting there and competing in that aspect. University of Henrico, Tyler Burton had 13 points, 11 rebounds. Pretty solid game. Nathan Ko had 11 points and 4 rebounds. And by the way, he has the worst free throw form I've ever seen in my life. Keep it up, because I hope you be breaking. So our low-key player of the game. Today we have 2. We got Mikael Brown-Jones, who really came in and gave so much toughness on the board, so much toughness just in general. 11.7 rebounds off the bench. You can't ask for more than that from him. And he has the ability to do this every game. But as long as he has his mind right, I think he'll be able to contribute like this consistently. And then my man Nick Kern. Nick Kern he started out the season getting a lot of ticks. And then it kind of dwindled away. a little bit. He was still getting the game, but he wasn't getting the same amount of minutes as he was early. Uh, but you gotta like a kid who can stick with it, right? Sometimes things aren't gonna go your way. Stick with it, and that's what he did. When his name was called, we needed to get extra minutes out of him. Not only did he step up, he stepped up and did more than what was expected. So, one time for Nick Kearns and Mikael Brown-Jones, low-key player of the game. Moving forward, we got GMU coming to the house, to the Stew. I would love to see the Stew packed out again like that. Honestly, I understand. I think this game is going to be on Wednesday. I know it's going to be hard for some people. You got to work. I get it. But I really hope that we can get a good turnout because it'd be important, or it'd be beneficial for the guys. It'd be beneficial for VCU in general. George Mason's going to come inside looking for revenge. They probably think that they can play a lot better than what they did. Let's not forget, George Mason has upset us in Siegel Center in recent memories, not like too long ago, where they weren't having a great season, but they still came in here and got a win. So it's important, and it's important in multiple factors. One, for our stands, make sure we continue to move up in the A10, make sure we get a bye by having a top 4 spot. And two, George Mason is a team that their record isn't good, but they're a good team. And we can't lose to a team that doesn't have a good record. You know what I mean? For at-large bid, too. So make sure you're ready. Make sure you bring your A game. Fans, put your seatbelt on, put your hard hat on, get ready. Because, it's going to be a war. This is another low-key rivalry, so just be ready. Come out and support. So until next time, peace.